everybody! First of all, I have a question I would like to discuss with you. Do you think anyone will buy a pure electric Big G? And I asked many friends around me. The answer they gave me was very positive, won't buy. I'm just surprised that this car is next to me. Can you tell if he is a pure electric Big G? That's right, this is the pure electric version of the G580. The current thinking of Mercedes-Benz is you can. Let this pure electric Big G and the fuel version Big G like a dime. What about the pure electric G we saw before? It's a closed wall with a circle of lights, okay? And now this one. You see it has become... The economy of the G500 is out of reach. Same with the spare tire. You can also choose the pure spare tire version. So first of all, the G580 is also the pure electric G from the appearance. Exactly the same as the fuel version of the G. Isn't the pure electric version of the car? Did it just solve the problem? Then you say, why are people still unwilling? Go buy the pure electric version of the Big G. I think there is a reason why it should not be a store of value. All pure electric cars do not preserve their value, and G itself is a value preservation artifact. But then the question came back, does the flashing bell preserve its value? In fact, I am currently on this one. Woof, it's G580. With low prestige, you can still see some Big G with the fuel version. Different place. A blue trim line has been added here on the side, including the calipers. It is also blue. Also, its small school bag is also this thin. That Mercedes-Benz was actually when he was making the G580. I just want to restore a pure fuel G. Interior. It can be said that it is almost exactly the same as the new 500. Why almost? Woof, because he doesn't have 3 differential locks. Remember, it's 4-wheel motors. So of course there is no differential lock. But you can see these 3 buttons, he changed it to G-Tom. It's a 360-degree U-turn feature. And G-steering is to stop one of our wheels. Realize the function of a small angle U-turn? The other is l'orange. That's because this car is based on the Dixon version. So we can see some comparisons. Luxurious, this matching kit. For example, it's all carbon fiber in here, and he carbon fiber. Also added that blue decorative strip, including our seats are also blue stitches. This is in the color matching of Dizenwan. It's really beautiful. Then this car, wood. In fact, statically speaking, we've shot it for you before. So dynamically, woof! I went to France for a test drive before. At that time, I was actually testing the off-road capabilities of this car. So actually today, woof, I want more. The feeling of driving this car normally, what style is it? Let's start it first. Listen to its sound. Okay. It feels a little bit like a V8 at once, but you can tell when you hear it. He's definitely not a gas car. Ready to go. Indeed, I can understand. Why do people like to turn on this electricity so much now? Car because of him? There is no such thing as a fuel car engine starting. Feels like he needs lubrication. Yeah. And then he needs to respond. He just doesn't have to wait for the pure electric car and come directly to me. Honey, I didn't expect it. He has a degree of steering wheel. Not the kind we come up with. You feel like this car is the kind of car in the city. Household use, the steering wheel has a heavy electronic sense. He didn't make it particularly light. That is, he still retains his own flavor. I like it now, because you will find it very textured. Meanwhile, if you really want to cross country, this degree is necessary. In addition, I just found the switch button for this sound wave. He has one of these, simulate the sound waves of the V8 effect. You can turn it off. Now we're on. So you're in the air, and you listen. You can hear him. Do this feeling. I don't know if you like it or not. I think it's okay. Then you start. Yeah, can you hear me? Sport mode. If you drive like this car. Kind of interesting. You know, this is my favorite. Is it a function of my car? That is, it has a function of massaging your butt. It's that airbag. I'm dragging under your butt. It's very cool. This is off topic. In fact, it is very cool to press the butt during massage. You are sitting here too? Because today, in fact, we are also the same as this car, experience. But I'm not sure about this car, whether it's 500 or 63. Very, very knowledgeable. Now the whole thing is open. Needless to say, his gaze. Then he turned to the feeling. This performance of his suspension, it is very similar to a fuel-powered Jeep. I'm driving it like this. I felt like I was driving my own car. It's just that he's quieter than my own car. I turned the sound off completely and watched it. After closing, is it? No sound at all. Well, I can only speak seriously. This car, it doesn't have the trolley car you imagine. Quiet. As far as the Big G Square and this shape are concerned, it's impossible to keep him out of the wind. You can't have it both ways. If you want a car that is extremely quiet, what EQS can you buy from Mercedes-Benz? It's the one with the lowest wind resistance zone. Is the same car because it is EQ after all? So it has 2 paddle shifters, just like the Mercedes-Benz EQ series as always. It's actually our plus-minus energy recovery. In fact, if you use it well, you can use this directly instead of your brakes. For example, it's about to stop. You can take 2 gears off. It becomes enhanced energy recovery, do you see? In fact, our car has already made one itself. Deceleration of strong energy recovery. Is that because you just switched to S mode? So feel the power. Wow. Wow. My heart. It's because he drives this car so similar. The fuel version of G, so I didn't switch over. His book. It is a pure electric car with 4 motors. It's too fast. Let's do another kick. Let's do another kick. Wow. This AMG network is too much. This is the feeling of 580 being better than 63. Wow, it's more interesting than I thought. I was driving this car just now. Actually, I didn't have high hopes. Maybe it's just quiet and then what? But I now find, in fact, he still really reserved a lot for you. Those things on G. When you drive it, you can obviously feel it. He is a G in his first contact with you, and this flexibility of his chassis, but he also gives you a new stimulus to the senses. But how? Although the foundation of this torque, Uncle feels fierce, but he is with V8 is a big name. It must still feel different to us. V8 is at first he seems to be calm, but he is like a symphonic experience how he keeps dragging you there. But the motor is very fierce as soon as it comes up. As soon as you come up, I'm a factory orgasm. Just drive this electric big G now. It's called the G580. It is midway between the G500 and the G63. Its price is between the G500 and the G63, but its horsepower, it is definitely larger than G63 now. Driving in this city today, well, it hit me pretty hard, because the last time I was in France, I was actually driving off-road. We climbed from the top of the mountain to the top of the mountain. That mountain is hard to walk. I opened this Lauren at that time. This moisturizing function, now he's not just saying let you torque up. Is it twisting and zooming in at the same time? He can have the feeling of a dragon going off-road. He can do climbing. It can be floated or tiled. In addition, because we are now 4 motors, so each motor, he can do it according to our road conditions. Adjust our power output separately. That's especially true on these climbing surfaces. My wheel is slipping, or the stone that my wheel is touching. It's an adhesion. That wheel is that kind of adhesion. In fact, vehicles will recognize this situation and then give different outputs of this power. So let this car in the process of off-road, very strong off-road with this chainsaw, the ability is definitely better than the G500 and G63. I am responsible for this sentence. But his shortcomings are also obvious, because he has batteries. He has battery life anxiety. And as for what you would expect, said he was looking up at these 4 motors of the U8. Who is good and who is bad? In fact, I may not be able to give a definitive answer either, but with their person in charge. His name is Raf, and we talked a little bit. What about him? First of all, it's not product development, so it may not give us a more accurate answer. But he thinks it's actually a slower spinning scene. It really is more suitable. On the off-road road, you must look up and leave scars. So I think I quite admire him for that. But at the same time, he also said that they did it quickly with a consideration. That's them. Want our circular track more accurate. Because when it's slow, due to the adhesion of our tires to this ground, the difference between friction, let's say I turn around twice. Maybe my first lap was in this position. Turn around slowly. I transferred it out. What about this GT of Big G now? It can completely follow your trajectory. In addition, in fact, the current speed of GT, you can control it. It can be much slower than their demo. But this rap also expresses, let's just say they will continue to go, improve the function of this G ability. So he can do it, and we can go slower. Easier to control. While still maintaining the accuracy of this tracking, how about driving in the city today? All I can say about this car is that it surprises me. I thought he was just a big gem, Shell's pure electric car, but when I drive down, I find it is a machine that retains the original flavor of G. The driving feeling, but at the same time, it gives you as much AMG as possible. The fun of such a pure electric car. So let's talk about it here. Let's go back to our question at the beginning. Does anyone buy the pure electric Big G? Then I think, maybe I should buy it. Then this video is over. Thank you all for watching this episode of Call Together. Or in all fairness, let's just sit here, chatted casually. The driving experience of this car, but I will still go back to the Beijing system. Go and drive seriously for another week or 2. Give everyone a better feeling. Then thank you all for watching these calls together.